And during this time, you were going in and out of jail?
Yeah.
And why didn't that stop you?
I wasn't scared. More or less, I believe that I'm prison preserved. You know, meaning that I go out for, you know, because what happened is that on smaller amounts of time of me, you know, I was out there running loose. I go to jail, I get out, and I get caught up in this vicious cycle of I take a drink, I take a hit, and I go back to jail. And I think that.
And would you say then, you know what, I'm going to get myself together, I'm not going back to jail, but you end up going back anyway?
Every time.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah. Every time I get a sober mind, I go do a minimum of a year flat to a few years inside the jail and penitentiary, and I swear with that sober mind, I swear when I get out, I'd be like, I'm gonna do different. I'm gonna do different. But I did for a 15-year period of time, all I did was the same thing every single time. I get out, and I didn't think drugs and alcohol were a problem, and I get out and I take a drink. The drink lead me to a drug, and the drug will lead me into some crime, and the crime lead me right back into prison, and I'd be like, damn it, what happened?
And so what made you do it? You've been to jail, you know you didn't want to go back, but you end up anyway, and you were saying to yourself, I'm not going back, I'm not going to do this anymore. And once you got out, what would make you do it again?
I just, with no conscious effort, that's just all I knew. I just got, like I said, I got caught in this cycle, and I just kept on going at it. I just kept on, it seemed like the only thing after I knew for a while was to get out, and no matter how much I tried not to drink and use, when I got out, I know I used to justify and think that I didn't have a problem with alcohol, so maybe I take a drink, and after a while of drinking for a couple of days or something like that, I want to use because I drank too much. And then I'd be like, well, maybe, that's the problem, so let me, and I try to beat the parole system, and I try to just use and not drink, But the disease, this thing inside me that just wants more. Right? It doesn't matter if I'm with women, with drinking, with alcohol, with drugs, with that criminal lifestyle. I had that craving. I want more, and I get busted, and it didn't matter because I didn't care about all that stuff, anything else out there. I'd get busted and it'd be like a vacation. I felt like I was at home. I felt like I was at home when I was inside the prison, when I was inside the penitentiary. Really? I felt like I was home. I was sober-minded. I worked out every day. I was in a program for life. I got a job in there. It's I felt like I was really living, inside there. No worries, no responsibilities, all this stuff.
So after a while, you were going in and out of jail as a younger person, and then finally you ended up in prison. Mm-hmm. And how long were you in prison?
I did 10 years. I did 10 years, probably a little bit more inside, in and out of the prisons.
And that's when you felt like you were home, where you were living there for that long period of time?
Yeah.
You became comfortable with it?
I became very comfortable with that lifestyle.
Really?
Yeah.
And because you've been fed, housed, clothed, you were working out, you had a job, so you just felt at home. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you stay in there?
No. They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me,
They wouldn't?
They wouldn't let you, man. You have a date, you leave. You leave. You can always stay a little longer, but I always thought that when I get out, it'd be different this time.
Right.
I always thought get out, and I always thought it'd be different. I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna do this. I always thought it'd be different, but it always ended up the same, man. Because I always, drugs and alcohol every single time would lead me right back to the same places, same people, places, and things.
And right now, if you didn't have this sponsor in this program you're working with, you can end up back in there again.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so, when you were in prison, I read that or heard, I don't know where I get it from, that you were were you the head of the gang?
I was I don't know if I was head of gangs, but I had some authority inside there. I was an authoritative figure. You do a lot of time. You pick up, you practically live inside the prison system, you sort of know the program, right. And you're 6'7" like me. I'm big. Yeah. I'm big. I'm 50 pounds more than I weigh now, and 6'7". People just
that's amazing.
People are attracted to that height and the weight, and you've been around, you got somewhat of a sober head on your shoulders inside there, and you're able to talk to other races and other people, and so call it what it was, man,
And so were the other cell people, were they afraid of you?
I don't think anybody's afraid. I mean, it was people afraid of me, and I don't think anybody, but I don't think we were afraid of each other in there.
Oh, okay.
You know, and the number, we're afraid that something might happen with the amount of people and stuff, you know, because you never know. You know, you see a lot of stuff in there that's,
right.
And so you just never know.
Sure
so you try to
happen.
keep a good head on your shoulders and be respectable, and all that stuff to all the people inside there, you know.
Oh, I see. And so were you able to get drugs while you were in jail?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There was drugs and alcohol. I did them in there. I smoked everything from banana peels, apple hairs, crack, did heroin, did speed, I did all that stuff inside
in
the prison.
jail?
In jail. In jail, yeah.
And how would you get it?
Man, that's just, I mean, you just get it, People send it in, do drops, it's in there.
Really?
Yeah.
So the jail control people can't stop it?
Yeah.
They cannot stop it?
No.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's in there, man. I see, it's inside there, man. And I mean, like, I know all about it, man.
Did you try to stop doing it while you were in jail?
For the very most part, I always stopped, and I didn't do it when I was in there,
right.
Yeah. And but there was times when I did.
Would it be risky for your life if you did it, like got high in jail? Did you run a risk of getting hurt or anything?
I'm gonna tell you, man, getting high in jail sucked. You're in a 8x8 cell, and I mean, there's only so many 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 puzzle sets that you can put together in a couple of days,
Yeah.
and so,
Were you ever in isolation?
Yeah.
By yourself?
By myself.
For how long? What's the longest time you were in isolation?
Isolation, 30 days.
And what would that like being? That means
23 and a half hours a day. I mean, there was times I was in isolation probably for 6 months to a year, and that's 23 and a half hours of lockdown. Lucky to go out for 15 minutes, 30 minutes to take a shower, and and all that. Just you read books, man. You read books.
No telephone, no talking
telephone,
to anyone.
no.
Did you go crazy in your head when you were in isolation?
I didn't, man.
What was that like in isolation?
I worked out every day, 2 to 3 times a day.
In that little cell?
Yeah, in my little cell, man. From early morning, we just worked out, man. Then you guys would work out, and then the other guys would work out, man. And we all just sort of, passed each other's books and ate food. But it's just like you get just like anywhere in life, you get this program you get this program, and it just makes the time fly by, man. You're working out, like you're waking up, you're rolling your stuff up, you're drinking your coffee, you're eating breakfast, you're working out,
Amazing.
Yeah.
So so you would pass your book to the next guy in the cell around you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you got your drugs that way too?
The same way. Yeah. Same way.
And then, and so the warden and the people who worked there, they didn't know that was happening?
They probably always, their job is probably always to try to figure out how all that stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And whether they know it or not, I don't know. But I know It's our job as being in there as us is to be able to get it through you, so.
So did you live in the white jail? Or
no, mixed. Everything was mixed. Yeah.
So in your cell area, was it all white or was it mixed with race?
Oh, mixed with races. I was in general population with all the races, Mexican, blacks, and whites, all there. All my cellies were all white, but my neighbors, were black, or this neighbors were Mexican over here.
Right. And how did you get along with them?
I got along great with them, man.
And why? Because normally in jail, the mixed people don't, the blacks don't get along with the whites.
I'm gonna say this is that we all keep to ourselves, and we all. But when you're living next door to a couple people, I don't care if after a year or after 6 months or a year or 2 years, something like that, man. You know who your neighbors are, and it's not that we hate each other or anything like that. It's just we fall into the political system of prison. And you're just obeying some rules in there.
But you're not allowed, as a white man, you're not allowed to hang out with the non-white people, right?
Right.
You don't allow that to happen.
But like say we had a job, but say you worked inside there, say we all worked in the kitchen, like maybe all you guys, have like the culinary, and then the whites will be the cooking, and then like the there'd be the servers, you know, and stuff like that. We're all workers amongst workers in there.
Right.
You know.
Did you ever get into fights in prison?
Yeah, got into fights. Yeah.
Did you win?
I did, man. I did. Yeah.
So you were able, did you ever get beat? Did anybody hurt?
I never got beat up that bad, no.
But did anyone ever fight you and they won?
Yeah, I actually got in a fight with a lifer. It was a black guy, and some words exchanged, and he was we're working out. Some words exchanged between one of the guys I was working out with and him, and I couldn't allow that disrespect, and so he called me out. And you know, I can't turn that down either. And so I went toe to toe with a guy that was just as big as me. Was 6'7", if not 6'6", 6'7". It was the first time I ever looked somebody eye to eye, you know, nose to nose and eye to eye. Like, all right. And we fought, man, back and forth from one side to the other, and we went round after round. And he finally knocked me down, man. He knocked me down, and I was sitting on the floor on my butt, and I looked up, man, chin up, and I think it all was, man. He just wanted to put me down like that, man. But
you saw stars?
I didn't see stars or nothing, man.
But you looked up.
I looked up, man. I was waiting to see stars. I thought, you know.
Yeah.
But like he didn't hit me when I was down.
Right on.
You know, and what it is that I think maybe it's just like something of a strength or something that we do amongst us guys in there to show our masculinity. You know, maybe it was the first time he ever saw a white guy that same size as him. You know, and so it was the battle of the giants went down.
What a mess!
And like after that, we see each other. We ran this building together and stuff like that out there, tier tending and stuff like that, man. And we were just became close friends.
After the fight, you guys became closer?
After the fight, man, they pulled us out. We shook hands, dealt like it with men, and went about our business, man.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you run into like Crips and Bloods and skinheads and all that?
All the stuff, man. All that stuff was in there. Every single one of them, man. Everything possible gang-wise is inside the penitentiary and jail system. It's scary to me. It was more scary and unpredictable inside the LA County jails than it was the penitentiary.
Really?
Yeah, you go in that LA County jail. Well, when I was there, 15 years ago or so, 15, 20 years ago, man. 25 years ago, it was like. It was a war zone, and it was, there's like places inside the county jail that, when you're going at it, that you always hear people dying and people losing their life, man, up inside there, because there's some dark dungeon zones, and you can just get lost inside that place,
What a mess.
Yeah.
And so are you able to say which penitentiary you were in?
Yeah, I was pretty much in mostly all the Southern California state penitentiaries.
You were in more than one?
I was in a lot, Lancaster, Tehachapi, Ironwood, Chino, Delano,
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like going to college.
Yeah, it was just like going to college, man. Graduated,
Amazing. Yeah. Do you think they should bring back the death penalty?
I think for like child molesters and people like that, absolutely.
But not. How about for murderers and drug addicts and things like that?
I don't know. I think that depending on the crimes, I think the death penalty for some people is definitely a go. But I don't. I would have to look more into that and see what the laws are and what it is. But
And so, so you guys were not, in this particular, in your area, you were not separated by race.
Oh, yes, we were.
Oh, you were separated?
Yeah, we were
separated. But you guys still were able to communicate if you wanted to.
Yeah, but we still communicated with one another, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, what was the food like?
Oh, man, it was everything. The food's everything there.
Meaning good or bad?
There was days, like they had Fridays, or pancakes, and then they had like, on Saturdays they had, cinnamon rolls, which are always good. The cinnamon rolls were always so good, man. cinnamon rolls, peanut butter and oatmeal, you know, the peanut butter and the pancakes, the SOS, man, like I loved it. It was their gravy and whatever meat they had all mixed together with the potatoes was good. And I like I said, man, I eat food today, like I am so used to not eating no food with any flavor. You know, I didn't have no salt, no pepper, no spice, like whatever that food is, I just ate it like that.
So the food in prison having a flavor?
It doesn't really have no flavor, man. You gotta bring your own salt, your own pepper, your own sriracha sauce, or whatever it is to put inside that, man. But like you just get accustomed to it, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you still eat that way now?
I don't eat that way now, man.
Oh, okay.
I grew up and out of that stuff, man. You know, I started like living a healthier lifestyle and eating better and doing better for myself.
Right on.
You know.
And so 10 years went by, and finally one day they said, okay, your day to go home. Mm-hmm. And how did that feel? What do you think about that when they said,
it's scary, man.
You go home today?
I'm gonna tell you, man, that I'm gonna tell you this, like all of a sudden, like they hit you with this, you're free to go. And I know that I was everything but free every time I left out of prison because I was addicted. I had this addiction to drugs and alcohol. And I knew that was only a matter, it wasn't how long I was free for, it was just a matter of how much time I was free for. Because I know if I went out there that you know, I'm immediately going to be, I'm caught in this cycle. So they'd be like, you're free, and I'd be like, damn, I'm like, you know, I was comfortable inside there, you know, and living, like I was living, you know, and I get out, and it took me, like I get out of the penitentiary, and I do what I do. I get loaded, I get drunk, I get loaded, and I'm running the streets, and it takes me another like year before I get clean and sober.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so the day you were let out of jail, who picked you up?
Nobody picked me up.
You took the Uber?
I had no Ubers, man. I wish, dude. I wish I had that, man. I take that state van to the bus station back to my hometown, and you know.
Wow.
And that was it.
And when you got back home, you stayed at your parents' house or you stayed on the streets?
No, I stayed on the streets.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, at the time.
Because you're so used to living inside now for 10 years. And then now you're back on the street.
Well, that just means I can stay at somebody's house in a very small area.
Oh, okay.
You know? And I'm on the drugs, so I'm running on drugs. I'm going round and around, you know?
One other thing about the jail, then I want to move on to something else. The people, some of the people, not all, but some of the people that work for the jail, I don't know what you call them, were they participating in the crime as far as selling drugs and that kind of stuff? Did you ever see anything like that?
I never, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, do they do back in the day where, you know, there was some dirt going on between all that stuff.
And you knew about it.
And if you're in it, you know about it.
Right.
You know?
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
What
but I don't know, like I said, that was 25 years ago. I know it's a lot different than it is now.
It's probably worse now.
Maybe not, you know?
One other thing, when you were in prison, did they have female guards?
Yes, they did.
They had female guards?
Yeah, but they worked out and looked like dudes, you know? They weren't just, you know, they're on steroids just like the deputies, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
What did it feel like to have a female guard watch over you, follow you to the shower? And they don't do that?
They don't really do that necessarily. They really, you're protected. I mean, there's small walls. There's like, and you can't play with that stuff inside the jail like that, man. Right. You in there and there's a girl, a deputy, and you're out there flashing your stuff, man. You're gonna get checked by your people, and you're gonna get checked by them.
Oh, okay.
You know? She don't want to be walking around doing her job and. You know, and everybody's catcalling her and doing all this stuff.
But there's so many cases that I'm aware of where some of those women, you get seduced by those men, and they become the girlfriend of the guy, and one thing leads to another one.
Yeah.
Were you ever in a position like that?
Nah, I was never in a position
you
like that.
You didn't want that or anything?
Yeah, I didn't want that.
Right on. Yeah. You didn't mind being guarded by a female?
No. I didn't. At the females were there, and a lot of them she'd be with a guy and it'd be a girl, and it wasn't like I said, man. The females on some of those yards are very fit, you know, and they take you out, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a female guard take a guy out?
Yeah, I have.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Did you
knock them right out?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
And when she knocked him out, did you say, what a beater?
Yeah, we were just lied. We were all up in our cell block, and they pulled this person out, and he called her a couple names, man. And I watched her knock him smooth out right there in the day room, and then I watched him drag him out by his feet,
Whoa.
probably all the way in the cuffs, man, and drag him all the way out to the cages, you know.
That's amazing.